Good evening, boys. Good evening, girls, and welcome to teamfortress.tv. My name is Getawhale. I'm joined this evening by my very good friend Marxist, and we're also joined by our European friend from across the pond. His name is Sim, and he's been very gracious tonight. He'll be helping us out tonight as we bring you a doubleheader in ESEA Invite. It is Froyotech. It's kind of a Froyo doubleheader, as they'll be facing off first against Street Hoops eSports, and after that, Elevate TF2. It's going to be a hell of a night, guys, so strap in. Marxist, as we get toward the end of the season here now, all LAN seeds have been decided, and so really now we're kind of just talking about a preview of LAN and playoffs, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's maybe still a little bit of juggling to be done somewhere, but it's not anything of consequence, I don't think. So this is basically just a preview of how good or bad Froyo is at Granary. Heard that Banny says it's not their best map, so we'll see exactly what that means, considering so far their worst map has meant that they gave up a round.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen basically the same old story that we've seen for several seasons with this Froyotech team. I mean, they've had numerous undefeated seasons, and they're undefeated still. They are 12-0 going into tonight. Street Hoops eSports on the other side, I mean, they're 10-3, and actually they have 2 forfeit wins ahead of them, so they're going to finish with their best record really in the history of Invite so far for them. But Froyotech, you can't, I mean, can you beat them? They've only suffered a handful of losses over the past 3 or 4 seasons. What do you do? What's the strategy? Is there some secret wizard witchcraft?
Well, I don't know. The main way that teams like this have gone down is you need to figure out a hard counter to them at mid. And that was done probably most remarkably in season 11 when Mihai's Flow was their perfect season was ruined by LG on Granary of all things because they came up with a hard counter mid. And that, from having played on occasion against Froyo, that seems to be one of the major stumbling blocks for teams, is because Froyo is really good at just pushing through you at mid and making it really difficult for you to establish anything with that.
Yeah, you kind of have to take a hold of it real quick, and sort of, if you fall behind, it can tend to get away from you, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And it's difficult to get anything going when they're constantly trying to fight you and push past you, so we'll see. It actually looks like we're leaving this server and going to another one now.
Great!
Yeah, so it wouldn't be ESEA TF2 without some sort of juggling act.
Well, that just gives us more time to, sit here and drink our hot cocoa, put our feet up, and have chats with the Twitch chat room. As I mentioned to you guys, we are doing 2 here tonight. They are both on the Granary map. And one thing I wanted to say and talk about is that the Froyotech team, they've been scrimming on this map, which is a bit weird because the Froyotech team hasn't really been scrimming barely at all this season, Marxist. Have you heard that as well?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's really not that abnormal for Upper Invite. After you've played this game for 6 years, you've pretty much figured it out, or you haven't at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching actually some of the scrims and something like that, and I don't want to talk about Froyotech all night long, of course, but it must be scary going up against Froyo, just considering how strong their lineup is and how many weapons they have. I was watching in the scrims specifically Duwatna, and we hear so much about some of the other players on the Froyotech team. We hear so much about Clockwork and Banny, some of the best scouts, really in history, I would argue. We hear, great stuff about the soldiers and whatnot, but Duwatna almost seems lost in the mix sometimes. You got to remember that this guy was specifically picked up and kind of targeted by Froyotech for his skill on demo.
Yeah, well, he'd been a sort of up-and-coming name for quite a while, and then he was with the sort of DJC group for a while, and they did make it to Invite on their own merit there. So he's been good for a while. I know the demo man change kind of threw a lot of the traditional demo focus sort of out the window, but it's still there to a degree. He definitely makes an impact.
Yeah, we're just trying to get the new server information here. I'm trying to get it here now myself. But certainly, yeah, you talked about Street Hoops and you sort of alluded to it, that they have been a team that ever since they moved up from that one main season, they have been in LAN all, I mean, they jumped right in and became one of the top 4 teams. And again, they will be back to LAN. But, they've had fantastic success. How do you feel about them this season? If say, for example, if this Street Hoops team were to go into LAN and they were facing Froyotech right off the top, how do you think that works out?
I wouldn't have the best feelings for them against Froyo in the first round. However, later in the LAN, you got a couple interesting things coming up for LAN because one, you've got an Elevate team that's kind of on tilt, and you never really know if they're going to perform as expected. So that's a potential game that 20B could get involved in and do okay with. And also, a ton of Mad Men players have never been to LAN, and you never know what's going to happen when you get a guy at their first LAN. All kinds of there's all sorts of random stories about stuff that have happened, like people forgetting their keyboards or etc. Or they're just really frazzled, or maybe super hungover, or jet lagged. All sorts of excuses and problems arise come LAN time, and so who knows how Mad Men may be a big question mark. So 20B, as far as other LANs they've made it to, I'd say this one they've probably got the best shot of performing above their seed.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I don't want to get off track too much. We're concentrating on this match, but you look at, the number of frags and how, stellarly that Badman team has been working out. But, the question always becomes when we get to LAN, we don't know how it's going to go. I mean, you think of, are you going to be a kind of a flash in the pan team that's going to die? I'm thinking of, We Love Anime, for example. Or are you going to be are you going to be the Street Hoops? Are you going to be the new Street Hoops and stick around for 3-4 seasons? So we'll see what happens with Mad Men. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We are just waiting here as we're switching over servers. Marxist, have you got the new server info yet? I'm sending messages out here. I'm putting out an APB looking for this info.
Well, I see that there are some viewers in the old one still. It may just be counting us. Yeah, it usually takes a little bit for it all to get fired up because they have to. Oh, I have found it. Okay. Yeah, this appears to be TF2.
Marxist is saving TF2, as everyone knows, so let's all give him a round of applause. We're going to get this new server info. We can talk a little bit about the players. We'll go through the rosters a little bit and sort of talk about them and maybe some of the players that we're going to be looking at to make an impact and to get a... Yeah, why don't we do that right now? Do you want to talk about the Street Hoops eSports roster, sir?
Oh, sure. So over on the Street Hoop side, we've got your usual faces. You've got Paragon and Deadbolt, the twin brothers. Deadbolt will be playing demo, however, so that's your change if you've been out of the loop. You got Sizer now in on Scout, playing against some of his former teammates tonight. And it'll be good to see that at LAN too. Sizer on the other side of the Banny coin, so to speak. You got Big Ash, who's made his name now. Grape on Pocket. Ninja Nick, his buddy and bro on Medicals Man, will round out the roster.
Cool. And we're back up and running here now. I'm in the new server anyhow. You look on the side of Froyotech, and I talked right off the start. I mentioned already the scouts, Clockwork and Banny, and it's tough, Marxist, to think of a combo of scouts that has been as dominant as this pair. I know there's some arguments out there maybe for some other names, but they're up there. They've been very dominant. Certainly, Clockwork. I know there are lots of young scouts out there that would love to be him, and he's certainly a smart kind of student of the game. He seems to have a lot of insight as well as a ton of DM. He's dangerous. We have, of course, Blaze, and then we have Blaze and Lansky. Lansky the Pocket, of course, and Blaze the Roamer. They are two fantastic soldiers as well. A lot of people say that Lansky, one of the better pockets in the current invite league of TF2. Blaze a great roamer too. Spoke already about Duwatna, aka Dutworkna. Duwatna, like we said. He's a hell of a demo, and I've been watching his play on this Granary map, and certainly it'll be interesting to see what they have cooked up, and of course the medic Shade, the man, the myth, the legend, Dante. I'm afraid of this Froyotech team, Marxist. I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. I don't know if we want to make predictions as we're picking sides here, but it's hard to bet against Froyo, isn't it?
Yeah, even if they say this is their bad map. Traditionally, these guys have been pretty good at Granary, so I don't think it's that messed up unless their mids are just wholly dysfunctional.
Well, I want my boy Ash off of this first mid because that's just what I want. We're starting here. We're gonna get this green text, and waiting green text, and there it is. So we are underway here on Granary. This is the first match of a doubleheader, guys, and thanks for joining us here on teamfortress.tv. It is Froyotech, and it is Street Hoops eSports, and we talked about this Street Hoops team wants to take a hold of this middle first, right off the bat. They don't want to let Froyo take anything if possible, so let's have a look at Ash and see what the strategy is here for Street Hoops off of this first mid. Putting out a little bit of damage on the left. The scouts are both up top already from Street Hoops and trying to take some position. Soldier jumps to the right-hand side here, and we see Shade actually... Shade in a little bit of trouble and taking a lot of damage down to 40. Clockwork just going to try to guard him. We had Deadbolt and Ash go down from the other side, and that's a lot of the firepower out of Street Hoops. In comes the bomb. That was Blaze, looks like. Blaze came in around, and he actually managed to stay up. He bombed in, got some good damage out, but we're still fighting out this mid. Lansky just came right in on Sizer and took him out. Went down then to Grape, and it looks like 20B, when all is said and done, are going to be standing here on middle, not only with full Uber, but with 4 other players up. And Street Hoops, if this is the storybook of winning this match against Froyo, they've written the first page the right way.
Yeah, well, we did have 2 demo men sticky jump at each other and attempt to melee battle in the air. It started that one, so a little bit of camaraderie going down there. But it ended up playing out pretty well for 20B. They should get this point pretty handily, unless some sort of disaster occurs. And then they should push to last. They are playing a little bit afraid at the moment.
Yeah, and they have Blaze. Blaze is actually coming in behind. Blaze is making a play, the roamer, and he's going to come in. Wants a medic, doesn't quite get him. Ninja Nick got out of there, and so Blaze is down. There's the sack. And I got to think the push is coming in, and here we go. Street Hoops now pushing in left side. Looking at Grape and looking at Ash, who are waiting to make their jumps. Vanny's up on top, and we have sort of the defense all around the point for Froyotech. Ash is in, and he wants Shade. He actually got bounced a little bit and juggled, it looks like. And it looks like Street Hoops might be backing out a little bit. They lost Deadbolt, and they lost now Ash as well. And that push into last for Street Hoops, that's it. And now 4G, look for them to just get right down the throat here, Marxist.
Yeah, when you're defending Granary last, it's really easy for you to just kite them to the opposite side of the map. And that gave Shade enough time to get his Uber built, and when they popped that Uber off with several 20B player in that last, it was a done deal. A good solid right side push out's gonna net 2 kills.
Wow.
That's the oldest truck in the Granary book.
Yeah.
So
picks.
Here we go, and now they're gonna give a 3rd frag here. So Clockwork's gonna go down, but that really is inconsequential. Now we're going to mid. Well, they get Banny.
I don't know.
So this may pan out some... No. So Blaze is going to get Paragon on the right side. That should be mid for 4G.
So they kind of equalize. I almost felt like Bandy overextended a little bit. 20B looks like they want to come back in here and get this Uber. They're going to pop right in. Nice pop by Shade. Duwatna goes down right off the bat, though. That was Sizer. And now retreating is 20B again, and so far Froyo just owning these Ubers, although Ash and Sizer came in and they picked out Shade, which is rough. It looked like 20B were all basically chased out of there, but they came and got the med for free.
Yeah, it was a nice quick pick onto Duwatna. You can... I don't think 4G saw that one coming, really. They're going to get Clockwork here, and there's another player in Blaze trying to get stuff done. But this is going to be another push out for 20B. They should be able to get in here pretty easily.
Yeah, holding on to, I mean, 70% Uber is basically a wash right now. They're going to come right in.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see what they're going to do. So it looks like they're going to... I call this little area J because it makes life a lot easier and simpler to call it J.
Okay.
Grape's going to go up top here, see what he can see. They're slowing things down, which is going to be a problem because there's really no reason to be slowing down. And that's going to give Shade a little bit of time here. Now they're going to come in off the pipe and fight a 7th player.
He's a level 2 sentry up, and actually the sticks for Duwanda not a factor as 20B push came in right under. They've got Duwanda already. Speaking of Duwanda, Lansky in a ton of trouble. He's going to go down. That's 3 down, and 20B want to try to converge onto this point if they can. They got Blaze as well. Shade down, Vanity. Paragon's just standing right on it. Look at Shade, though, with the block. He comes out and just sends on it. With only Paragon and Ninja Nick up, they're going to try to work on him, though, now as it fades. And a nice arrow gets Paragon in what should have been Street Hoops' round, and that's huge!
Yeah, you don't want that to happen to you when you do your last push, but like, as I may have said, they, the 20B ended up going a little bit slow there, and it caused them to not be able to cap. Shade probably got a swipe in there, but he helped it along quite a lot. So they've still got Uber advantage. We're basically in the exact same place again. Banny on heavy, no off classes for 20B. They're gonna just try and do this the normal person way, I suppose.
And in comes Sizer, is going to try to poke in a little bit, and the push is coming from right side, so they're right in, trying to get damage on the soldiers who jump away. Lansky's low, and he goes down to Sizer's, but doing great cleanup. They picked Shade as well. They do have a heavy still up. That's Vanny. They're going to focus him down. They need that heavy down. If they can get him, that'll be possibly this last, although a lot of fighting going down to the right door, and the heavy just sort of taking advantage of that big wide open space, but no Shade heroics this time as 20B do what they should have done maybe the first time. Despite Shade's heroics, they're going to take this first round, and that was a very impressive kind of back and forth.
Yeah, that's what if you're 20B, this is what you need to see. You need to see mid wins, and then, yeah, maybe you screw up last a couple times, but ultimately you don't really let them get out, because once Froyo can get into you, that's when they start doing what they want to.
Call this mid, sir.
Alright, so I'm gonna check out our demo exchange here we got pulled up on the catwalk, and Bomb's now coming over, Blaze way up in the sky, gonna dip in and get Deadbolt in the garage. So big things happening there. We got Shade dancing around on top. He's being attacked, but he's gonna surf out.
Wow.
Or no, that wasn't. Yeah, it was Shade, definitely. I got a little switch around there. But yeah, that's gonna be Ninja Nick 2 on the outside, not fast enough to get out. So, and this is where you end up with problems, because there's like a 7,000% chance that Froyo is going to be pushing last before second is capped.
Yeah, the scouts are jamming right now on 4G. I'm very impressed. And focus fire, we throw around the word focus fire maybe a lot, but I really saw a ton of focus fire from Froyo on that mid. I saw the bomb in from Blaze that you mentioned, and Banny was right there to clean up right after the bomb. Just really great play all around. We got Paragon up now on Sniper. He's going to be in the back corner, so watch for him. Let's see if he can get any kind of lucky pick here, depending where the Froyo push comes from. What's the safest push, Marxist?
Well, you just got to go all together, and they have to pop right away because they know about the Sniper. They actually went slower than I expected. I expected them to just go in, but they took it a little bit more deliberately. It's going to pay off. Nice pipes, actually, from Deadbolt there. Gonna end up giving himself a scout assist, but they are aced out here, so that will tie us up at 1-1.
1-1, and sometimes I use the words wake-up call. Was that Froyotech's wake-up call, losing the first round?
It could have been. I didn't see any malice yet come out, but it may come.
I want to watch Clockwork on this mid. Let's look at Clockwork, who has been doing fantastic so far, and I've seen a lot out of both scouts actually on 4G on these mids. They're rolling up top, and it seems like they do take these crates every time, getting a lot of snipe damage, and basically snipes outbolt with the pistol. And so I've got to think 20B, they got to make something happen here quick. Lansky's in on Ninja Nick, and again, just swarming is this entire Froyotech team, and 4G just making it happen right now. Lansky's down low, he turns around, gets the little twitch kill on Grape, and barely anyone standing here, even though there's a lot of damage on 4G. 20B forced to back out, and fairly impressive mid. Again, Ninja Nick, though, able to escape. He's got 75% Uber, but I feel like 4G wants him. Lansky's going upstairs now.
Yeah, Lansky's going to try and block out this this approach a little bit, but we got Nick is getting his people charged back in. He knows he's got Uber advantage. The sticky trap be a problem. Okay, good. Grape saw it. He is a smart player, and they should be able to get into yard pretty easily here. We'll see. They're doing it in the standard way, so it shouldn't be too challenging. Your goal here as Froyo is just to slow them down enough so that you can have an Uber for a mid-fight, but they're not going to get it in time, and they are moving our 20B.
Here they come. Looks like they maybe want to hand it to Grape. Ninja Nick is in with Grape, who jumps up above, gets some advantage, and now flashing around the Uber 20B. They have no one from Froyotech to shoot at. This is kind of a wide open area where it's easy to get out of this mid at Granary. And here comes Froyotech. They're giving Clock and they're giving Lansky this Uber. They're going to come right in a Paragon. Ninja Nick is out hightailing it out of there. Clockwork going to chase him down and pick him out easy. Grape is in to try to save the day, but with the medic down, 4G is going to be at a big advantage now. I'm looking at those Sizer and Ash are hanging out. They were hiding the whole time. They're going to try to get Blaze here, but it's going to be kind of inconsequential. Possibly the key word of this match so far.
Well, I mean, that was just really poor play from 20B. They had to know that Rio was going to get Uber soon, and they all stood on the point in big party, and then the Uber came in and killed all of them. So, I mean, nobody really to blame but themselves there. And now they're going to get this point capped fairly easily and go down by 1.
There we go. And so, again, 2 really fast rounds, and, you know, when I see rounds go down this quick, you think of how long the first round was, and I don't know, maybe it was Froy's practice rounds. They were like doing their stretches still or whatever, stretching their fingers or whatever, you know. Oh boy,
it can happen sometimes. Get your mojo flowing.
Who are you watching this time?
I'm gonna watch a Grape. See what he does here. He's gonna go choke side and spam a rocket down the corner. Maybe do a little bit of damage to his scout. We have already lost Duatna, which is a great sign for 20B. Ninja Nick defending himself, gonna go down, but that really doesn't matter. Just a Ninja Nick pick, not a big deal. Shade is actually really, really close, and he is stuck in the forward spawn, yeah, so not the greatest positioning decision in the history of TF2. But that's okay.
Lansky tried to jump through, create his own hole in the roof or something, and he got taken out. So, a great mid there for 20B, and, you know, I noticed that Duana went down so early there. How important are demos right now in 2015 on the mid of Granary, say on a scale of 1 to 10, Marxist?
Not tremendously. The thing that the demo man gives you on Granary is he can spam people down from on top of the crates. Actually, we're going to have Ash and Clockwork do a little bit of trading here.
Yep.
But still no Blaze for 4G. He got killed in a sticky trap. So it should be okay to push in here. We'll see how they approach this. Some teams like to lead in with the pocket, and some like to lead in with the demo. It looks like they're going to stick with Grape, run a scout across to get the time on the point. That's all that really super matters right now. There they go. They've got it. Don't lose. Oh, but we lose Paragon.
Yeah.
So they're going to just recap this now, and we'll end up at Uber v Uber. And when you're on Uber v Uber in this area, Granary, you can see a lot of tricksy things get done. So we'll see what they do.
Grape was thinking of waiting up above and waiting for the push out, but that's not going to work out. And here comes Froyo out through the zigzag or the Z door, and Grape is coming in now, trying to lead the charge in on Shade, who surfs away and is going to stay up. And finally now Pops. He's going to be a little hurt when he gets out of this. And how's this going to play out? 20B are getting out of there and kind of maybe giving Yard a little bit to Street Hoops eSports, although the flank is very slowly getting out, and Ash might get picked off here.
Yeah, Blaze actually came out of the drop down directly on top of Grape's head. So it was really good timing from them to try to work that play together, a push out into right yard and then Roamer out of the drop down. Shade very hurt right now. They're playing a little passively. 20B does have the respawn advantage, so they'll be coming in here in a big way. Duatna not quite put in the sad zone. Lansky shows up and decides to save him.
I'm impressed by how Froyo have played in this situation, defending second. A lot of teams, you see them sort of with their fingers on the S key, you know, just ready to get out at any second, but Froyo were sticking it in there. I was very impressed in the last little exchange, Marxist.
Yeah, it was a good push out on their part. It just didn't quite pan out. I think, you know, the play that they ran there, they expected Blaze to get like 3 kills, and it just didn't happen. But
20B are trying to sneak in flank right now. Sorry to interrupt a little bit. They're thinking about it because if I'm getting in the head of Street Hoops, are they maybe trying to think about another push here, or is it just Shutter or nothing?
Well, basically there are a couple different options you can take here. The easiest or the most common is that you're just going to buff the left side and hope to find somebody in garage up too far. I don't see anybody over there right now using my cheats, so that's not really going to do anything too much for them. You have a couple other options. You can try and bait their Uber out by just Ubering in and then backing up and hoping they follow you. That one was a big mix-up strategy a few seasons ago, so we'll see what they decide to do. Otherwise, they're just going to chill for a bit. Chilling is not in the favor of 20B, though.
No, it's not, and it seems very obvious that Froyotech are waiting and letting 20B push in first. We're not going to see a push out here. Clockwork and Banny just sort of patrolling this J, as you called it, or the lunchbox, as some people know it as.
Well, lunchbox is like the upstairs. But J is the ground, because it's so hard to differentiate between the ground and the upper area, so...
Alright, push is coming in though, Marxist, looks like, and we got all of 20 now. Go. Kind of a choky area, and Blaze has been waiting in here all night like he was born to do it, and really just kind of shuts him down. They did lose Banny there. It looks like Blaze is going to try to wrap in here. Ooh, I don't know. Really big picks there. They just got 3 right in a row. That was Clock helping out.
Yeah, and their Uber gets forced in garage, so now Grape is put in a really awful situation. And he gets Ash rather, and he gets shut down. So, blasted out of the sky by Lansky, no force on Shade. And now, the old casting mantra of Granary was that this map was swingy. You used to hear that a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
And now we're going to see a 2-point swing because of a failed push, so...
2 points swinging. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking at Froy. They're doing all the right things. Duana is anticipating any kind of push out. He kind of has flank covered off with sticks, and they're going to come in through this area here. I think that this encounter here, it'll be important to see how this turns out. There's no off class. There's nothing crazy. It's just up to... Or, sorry, there is. Paragon is on Sniper, looks like. I don't know where he is. He's back. He's coming, just kind of sneaking out that door near forward. The Uber got popped. Meanwhile, Lansky's taking it in and going to try to take ground here and get big picks if they can. They got Deadbolt, which is really important. Ooh, they're still kind of creeping around here, but it looks like Froyo will come in, and this could be bad for 20B if they lose anymore.
Yeah, they lost Ash, but not everything is lost because they still have the Uber, so they get to make the executive decision to use it. But their team evaporates around them, and the friends forever are going to have to fall out, and Grape has to fight the scout now while his medic desperately tries to surf around, but Lansky lands a nice rocket. And we have not capped second. We are just fighting on last currently. And that's what Froyo does. So
yeah, looking at the timers, we're kind of scattered all around with respawns. We'll see how this works out. We've got only Deadbolt left to come back up, and I don't know, it's going to be tight here. Lansky goes down, which is a big deal, and Shade kind of running around. Shade under a lot of heat and has to get right the hell out of there. Paul pushing right up, also known as Sizer, and getting the hell out of there. Now, Shade's grabbed the medium pack, so he's not in dire danger right now, but 20B looking to maybe take control of this and get some momentum back. Now, Shade pops really early. He must have got the call. We'll see how this plays out, and again, Grape, Deadbolt, Sizer all down, and Ninja Nick down as well. And I'm calling this last point, Marxist. That is unfortunate.
Yeah, the pivotal mistake there was Sizer. So on Granary second, because we're going to halftime now, so I get to pontificate.
Okay.
When you push into Granary second, the first person in has to go into J. And Sizer went direct to the point, and he was immediately flanked by a scout that he did not see and died. And as soon as you lose a player into your second push, because their forward spawn is so close, it's like, you know, you're in left yard as soon as you walk out of spawn. Their spawn is so close and so much faster than yours, you're done. You basically can't do it unless you get a godlike series of frags or you have crits or something and you just blow them up when they arrive. So Sizer got picked out easily. 20B kind of hung around. They overstayed their welcome at that point, and then their whole team died. So that's not really what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, since this match was on a different server than ESEA is showing, we don't actually have the stats available through ESEA. But, I mean, if you, unless you're just joining us, you saw Froyotech play pretty strongly for basically 3 of those rounds. They lost the first one, of course, but it is 3-1 heading into the second half here. You know, if you're Street Hoops, it certainly would have been nice to pick out a win here, but it's not needed. We mentioned how they're already getting into LAN. They will be in Dallas for the end of season LAN. Is there any way out? Is there any secret formula? I mean, what happened in the first round that Street Hoops could maybe try to emulate? Is it just kind of working together as a unit, or which of our old cliches is it, Marxist?
They made two pivotal mistakes there. They tried to push into second without securing Lunchbox first, and so they lost the round. And then the next time is they had to have known that Shade had Uber, and they stacked the point with all 6 players and got evaporated. So you just can't do those things and win basically at any level. So if they fix those two things, we have a much different match. So
yeah.
I don't know if it's just, mental errors or whatever going on there. It's not necessarily a coordination problem. They just made some big mistakes, and Froyo capitalized on them excellently. But here's the second half Getawhale.
Here it is, teamfortress.tv. Thank you for joining us. Why don't we watch Grape? Because I think that wouldn't you put a lot of this on the shoulder? Grape here, nothing against the rest of the guys on 20, but if Grape can go huge here, that would help.
Yeah, he's a big-time mover for 20B.
Mover and a shaker. So Grape is caught having some problems actually here. A little bit of lag, looks like, or maybe server lag, but at any rate, real quick out to mid actually, were Froyotech, who are already up above, and they've been favoring sort of this left side for all these mids. They're just blocking everyone out of Street Hoops. They've lost now, although Blaze does go down, but we're fighting it out here. Vanity's up top, but he's going to try to take it to Grape, who eventually goes down. Sizer and Ash are the only ones left on 20B. Another strong mid for Froyo. What'd you see?
Yeah, 20B tried to play kind of passively, which works pretty well if you know the other team is just going to bomb into you, which is what Blaze did. But they didn't shut down that bomb with their passive play. And so Blaze came in. He got Goomba'd by Grape, and then killed Ninja Nick and Deadbolt, and then that was the end of that. So, Sizer are going to get Blaze, and then die to Duatna. So, a little bit of action in the back. Ash actually going to go down to Lansky, who's coming in left here. Looks like they're going to go on a adventure. Are we going to... It looks like they are.
They're all coming in.
They're going up into Lunchbox.
Oh, the upper push. So they're going to drop down to Hell. And Clockwork just slowly filling by the point is going to try to cap the corner, but big damage being put out here as Ninja Nick is going to be the first one to go down, and just a slaughter over here on the right side and last. And again, we're going to see a situation here probably where 20B not able to put up the defense and going to be a real quick, although they got to fight it out still. Ash doing great work. It's taken out though by Blaze, and Clockwork doing big damage too. Blaze and Clockwork.
They did there something that was just incredibly sexy to me.
Talk about it.
They dropped down right with Lansky and their Uber, and that forces all of 20B to back up. And at the very second when 20B is backing up, Banny came off the pipe. He had just sort of flanked off of Lansky and got flashed, and then they were trapped between Banny and Lansky, and that was the end of 20B.
It's a bad place to be. Tell us through the eyes of Marxist what you got here.
Alright, so I'll watch Banny as he pistols a jumping Ash, I think, or possibly a Grape, I can't really tell. And Ash is gonna go down, so it was indeed him. Banny's still just trolling in these high areas. Lansky and Duatna gonna go down a little bit too high up. 20B is gonna win this one, yeah. So 4G just never got their mojo going there. Banny's probably he's gonna get a pick though. He wants to die for
Big
Shade,
Paul! But do you know who you give the trophy for that mid to? Sizer, who drops I'm amazing in chat. Sizer started off by taking out Lansky, and we said, okay, that's fine. Came and got a soldier, okay, that's fine. And came in, he finished it off getting Ninja Nick. He put out a ton of damage. Grape's agreeing with him there. A hell mid by Sizer. Browntown.
he can do that to you. They used to call him the garbage man, you know.
Why is that?
Because he took out the trash.
There you go, he took it out there, and so we've got 20B again looking at last, and we've seen them pull it off, and we actually saw them almost pull it off twice. We had that miraculous play on last by Shade. Let's see if we've got the heroics as Clockwork just got Paragon, so that's that. And I don't know about this. Real sloppy. Getting forced up top is Ninja Nick, and this is going to be a miracle here. They've got to make it really happen here. Grape taking it in is going to chase in through the door. Ash is going to follow as well. 20B. Boy, they almost have no... Wow, they managed to finish off Froyo. Froyo was sort of trying to get out of there and then come in at the right second, but it didn't work.
Yeah, they kited inside a blast, which some classes can do it, but your whole team can't do it, or
Yeah,
they're
they
going to get
waited too
focused
long.
down.
Yeah, there was just no one there to block. It was just a real easy cap there. So we got 4-2 Marxist. There's another round. It is still match point, of course. We played a 5, but a little bit of momentum now, maybe moving the way of 20B. And on that team, 20B, I want to look at Ash. Let's see what Ash does, because I love him on mids. He works quite hard. He's going to try to block, again, Lansky out of this garage area, which is what Sizer did on the last mid. Meanwhile, he is going to actually jump away there. Shave is just up top, and he's going to stay out of danger there. Ash and Deadbolt are down on the side of 20B. Clockwork is chasing in. He's going to shut down Sizer, who was the hero last mid. Lansky gets taken down, though, as well, but it doesn't matter because he's got 4 of his teammates still up, and Froyo are going to take this one. It's a Wiperino.
Yep, that was your whippity wipe there, Getawhale.
Clean the floor, yeah.
They're gonna go into second now. What do we got here in second? We got the basically the semi-full complement because Blaze is playing pseudo pocket for the time being, or Suedo if you prefer to purposely mispronounce things. And we should see an Uber push basically instantly. We've got all the necessary things, but they may wait for Lansky. Maybe they just like to have a little, you know, Landman Gaming security blanket for these things.
Well, Paragon's got his good angle. He's sniping, and he just got Blaze. The red side of this map lets you stand on a little kind of can there, and Paragon uses it to his advantage. Gets a little more damage out, but it's time now. We're in here. This is the last fight officially. There are no Ubers either side, but obviously it looks like Froyo want this. They get chased out, though, quite handily. Losing Blaze doesn't help.
Yeah, they had a nice defense there. I don't know if they saw it because of Paragon, but I think they had a pretty good idea that the Uber was going to come in off the pipe, and so they just had a soldier there to block and juggle Grape immediately, and then everybody kited away. Nothing happened for 20B, or 4G rather.
Well, 20B now has their Uber, and so let's see what they do with it here. Are they going to keep the pedal to the metal or what? And it seems like they are. Duatna trying to buy a little bit of space and a little bit of time if he can. Blaze and Clockwork are both down. I missed it myself on my camera.
Yeah, they're going to push in through garage here. They are going to get forced. And this puts them in the same situation they were in earlier, Getawhale. So we need to be careful about what's going to happen here. Are they going to spread themselves a little bit better? It looks like they have. But, yeah, so they are not going to get completely wiped by this Uber. It actually ends up being a pretty... Well, they get Deadbolt, so that's at least a positive. And Ash as well. But see how pressed up 4G is already?
Yeah. And they had no Duatna either. Duatna was on that long respawn timer and only now just getting back up and joining everyone else. Well, look at Banny. I mean, this is the power of Banny and Clockwork. It doesn't matter if you've got people respawning. And look at this, they're wrapping around back. Here comes Banny in on Sizer. Gets the pick on to Ninja Nick, which is huge. Still pistoling it out here. You wanted more, but just the power of those two scouts, they can just take so much space. They can just do it all.
Yep, the rush down was pretty strong. But poor Blaze, the nerf stick, not good enough. And, well, I think that is a GG. So 5-2 will be your final score.
We got good games called out, and so Froyotech, they do remain undefeated. They take this first one against 20B. 20B putting up a pretty good fight. I mean, as far as games against Froyo go, taking a couple rounds, that's pretty damn good. And I was very impressed by their play, Marxist.
Yeah, except for two mistakes, that they did fine. The mids were pretty good. It was cohesive. So, yeah, it's okay. Their last pushes were pretty good, minus a few early mistakes. So, yeah, I wouldn't feel too bad if you went into... I imagine, if they do think this is their worst map, I imagine Froyo would ban this map, but who knows?
We'll see.
But it might make some teams feel happy.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, at any rate, we don't want you guys to go anywhere. I just want to call that out. Don't go You know, don't go off and play H1Z1 now because we've got more TF2 coming right up. Right now, starting very soon, we're going to have a second match. It's a doubleheader. That means there's 2 games. That's just math. It's Froyotech and Elevate, which is going to be fantastic. And when you look at the past few seasons, Elevate, the team that has kind of taken the most victories, certainly they're the only ones that have taken victories in the regular season off of Froyotech for the past few seasons. So that's going to be pretty crazy on this same granary map. I believe it's going to be a few minutes before we get going, so I think we might take a quick little break and just get some smooth jazz or some music going. Am I correct? I'm assume so.
Yeah, the server will come up around 11.
It comes up around 11, and so that wasn't quite as quick as I thought it would be, but guys, don't go anywhere. Stay right here on teamfortress.tv. We do have a straw poll that's going that was just posted in chat. Tell us who you think's going to win, and then come back in, say about 10 minutes or so, and check out Elevate and Froyotech. We will see you soon.